The views expressed on the following program are not necessarily those of WPSL. However, we are the ones who sort of set you up in the first place to like and share them with all your friends and neighbors on social media and next door. Because if it's happening on the Treasure Coast, you'll hear about it on the Sue Ellen Sanders Show. In fact, here she is right now, your host, Sue Ellen Sanders.
So true. If it's happening on the Treasure Coast, you may just hear about it here. And we're talking today to Karla and Jerry Andrako. They are the founders. Well, Karla is the founder, and Jerry is the assistant for Port St. Lucie Crosstown Running Club. And they have a race coming up right around the corner. It's a race, it's a road race you may be familiar with. It's a 5K, and we'll be talking about that. But we're also going to be talking a little bit about running and walking and exercise and the importance of all of those things, not just for your physical health, but for your mental health too. Karla, some people might know you, especially in the running community, as Karla Aviles.
Aviles, that is correct, Sue Ellen. How are you?
I'm good.
So good to see you. Good to see you.
And Karla and I are part of a group, well, and Jerry too, of the running community of the Treasure Coast.
Absolutely.
And it's a unique group because you don't have to do anything to join, and you're a member of their running community no matter what you do or where you go. If you move up north and you come back down, you can go out and run with them and have fun. And Karla, you and I both started seeing each other at 5Ks and half marathons and other running races before Crosstown
Yes.
Running Club started. What made you decide to start Crosstown?
Well, I live in Port St. Lucie area, closer to Crosstown. So one day we decided, a good friend of mine and myself, we started running Crosstown around 6 p.m. Okay, on Wednesdays. And we used to also run in the mornings, going to Stuart and different areas, Tradition, Stuart. So we decided, why not start running in the evenings, not especially early in the mornings, so maybe after work, like a different option, and that's how everything started. We started running, and then we started meeting at McChesney Park at 6 p.m., and then little by little, people were just showing up. The good thing about running is that you just want to start doing it. You don't have to have like an experience, or you don't have to be to know everything about running.
No.
Because as you go, as you start doing it, is when you start finding out things about your body, about what kind of shoes I'm gonna use, or what kind of nutrition, or all these things that I'm still learning, all these years. So that's how we started in a little bit over 8 years. And now we founded the PSL Crosstown Running Club in 2019 as a nonprofit organization. And the group is growing, the club is growing, and we're to the third year in this 5K, organizing the 5K now.
And Karla's group runs on Wednesdays at around 6 p.m.
That is correct.
And they meet at McChesney Park,
Yes.
Which is just off Crosstown, and then but it's not a set distance. I mean, you have different distances for people of all different skills and
Yes.
and needs.
That is correct. We have different distances, paces. We have walkers, runners. We have runners. Sometimes I just walk. We have groups that they do a big loop, like maybe 4, 5, or 6 miles, depending on what they're training for. And also just to socialize.
Mm-hmm. And there's some people that just go out and back and just
Out
do a
and
mile
back,
or two.
Just a mile.
Yeah.
Maybe they don't want to push too hard, or maybe they're just starting to walk. And that is a great thing because we meet there, and also we wait for everyone to come back. Besides Wednesday, we also meet on Sundays at 8 in the morning at the Submarine Veterans Park, which is the corner of Floresta in Crosstown at 8 in the morning.
Which is a little bit harder to find.
Right.
Yeah, the first time that I had to go to that park, you just the GPS will take you
Yes,
there. And just when you think that there's nothing else there, that's the park.
That
I
is.
think the hardest part, there's 2 veterans parks. And
Yes.
So when you put it into your GPS, it takes you to the other park. for
Okay,
some
so
reason.
what do you need to tell it? Submarine veterans?
This is Submarine Veterans Park,
Okay.
and it's on Floresta and Crosstown.
So you want to
Yes,
make
on
sure
that
you
corner.
get the one at Floresta and Crosstown.
Right. Right.
And it's the same type of thing. Everybody meets there, and the great thing about running with a group is you don't have to run with them every single day to feel like you're held accountable with them. And if you don't show up, people are going, hey, where's Jerry?
Exactly. And I love it because sometimes 80% of the participants, we're friends in Facebook, or I have their phone numbers. And if I don't see them like 2 weeks in a row, I text them, or we text them, or we email them like, hey, I hope everything is doing well, because things happen, or maybe you're out of town, or so we're trying to keep in touch with all of them. And I mean, they love it. I mean, when I don't show up, and where is Karla? Okay, so I'm going. So yeah, that is a good thing about meeting with a group. Yeah.
And so you guys started, for one thing, you've always volunteered as individuals and as a group, and signed up different teams for different races. A lot of the 5Ks and the half marathons and the other races in town, they have options for you to sign up as a team.
Yes.
And a lot of times the people that are part of your group sign up as a team, or if they're not feeling like they're going to run, you might go and volunteer as a team.
Volunteer. Yes, we love doing that, cheering on to other runners or helping, because it's so much when you organize a race that we value each one who wants to volunteer, because it's a lot of work. And
you
that
can't
put
do it by
there.
yourself.
No.
And you're volunteers too. It's not like when you put a race together that you're getting
Yes.
any money.
Yes.
You may have sponsorships, but the money that you raised either goes to the race expenses or goes to whatever charity you're giving money to in it.
That is correct.
Karla and I have had lots of great conversations because I've been a race director here in town for about 20 years.
And your races are, oh my God.
Yeah, about
They're
10
great.
years we did the Run for the Coach, which was in memory of cross-country coach Wayne Cross. And then over the last 8 years, we've been doing the Sailfish Beer Mile, which takes place in November. But it really makes me laugh and makes me cry at the same time when people say to me, oh, I'm going to put a race together. It sounds like an easy way to make money.
I know, it's not.
Because you make money with the sponsors. That's how
Yes.
you make the money to give to whatever nonprofit you're giving to.
Yes.
But especially nowadays, we were talking about just before this show started. Tell us a little bit about what goes into putting a race together.
It's a lot involved. The most important thing, I think, in my opinion, it's the people that is going to be working with you. Because we all have to be, number one, in the same page. Why we are doing this, okay? And one of the things that I try to, it's we need to have fun in all this. It's going to be stressful? Absolutely, yes. Are we going to make mistakes? Yes, 100%. But in each mistake, we're gonna grow and we're gonna learn. But once you have a good team with you, a group of people that really wants is sharing that vision with you and wants to work and make that vision like a, a reality, I think that's the first thing that is you're successful. After that, yes, we need the art.
You need the art to
The
start
art
it off.
to start.
Yeah, to advertise it.
Exactly, to advertise it. We have a great art teacher. Actually, he's a school teacher here in Port St. Lucie. So we have been blessed because on the three races that we have had, he has basically given us all these ideas. He has done it. You know, he has volunteering that.
Well, he's created the logo for the medals and also the T-shirts
Right.
and our banners.
Yes. Yes. I mean, he's
And he gets his children involved
Jamie,
also.
yes,
Yes.
Jamie Segui. So after that, of course, the T-shirts, the medals, getting sponsors. You know, knocking at
Yes.
each door.
That's the hardest part
That
for
is,
me.
at the beginning for me was like, what if they say no? And at this point, Sue Ellen and I tell Jerry, I just don't care. I mean, if they say no, okay, thank you so much. At least they listen to me. But we have been so, I'm thankful. We are thankful that we have many sponsors this year, a lot of sponsors, and hopefully next year, of course, more. Because the charities that we're raising funds are so important, and they're doing great things in the community. So when they see that, it's adding, you know, so they want to be part of it. Also the theme, what theme we're going to use this year? St. Patrick's, because it's the day after St. Patrick's Day. So it's a lot of things, you know, to take in consideration. We have had so many meetings, like almost every week or every other week, race meetings and club meetings. And in the club, that our board is everyone there have their own strengths. If my weakness is, example, technology, I have this other person that is strong in technology. So we try to balance everything out. We have a great treasurer. I mean, it's so much.
That was
is
one
involved.
of the things this year that I don't want to say insist. It sounds so harsh to say insist. But as president of the club, the last few years I saw that you can see burnout when it's going to happen. People are working to get the race going. They're on your team, but you know, people tend to stay to themselves, and people tend to think somebody else will do it for them.
Well, and you're asking them to volunteer, and they already probably have a full-time job.
Yes.
They have a
Exactly.
family.
Yes.
They
Yes.
have a lot of other priorities, and
Yes.
so you're basically, when you ask them to volunteer, you're asking them to prioritize this race or this club above other things at some time, and that's a difficult ask. And
It
After
is.
last year's meeting, we recapped, and probably the biggest thing we took out of our experiences from the years past was we need to delegate responsibilities and not put them on one or two people. So we've got a great board this year, and we have tried to share all the responsibilities with them. This way, not one person is responsible for everything.
and you can move forward together
Right.
for a common goal. Okay, so before we move any farther along, let's talk about the race itself and the date, the location, and how people can sign up.
Absolutely. So far, we have 275 participants sign up.
Which is great for a month
great.
out, yes.
Which is great. The race is going to be in March 18th. It's a Saturday, and it's going to start at 7:30. It's at the Manatee Academy, K-8. It's located in Heatherwood. Everything is in Run Sign Up. You can go to runsignup.com /Crosstown 5K. And I tell my friends and family, just wear the best green, your best green, and we're gonna have raffles. We're gonna have vendors with food.
You're going to have green stuff?
Yes.
Yeah, lots of
I
green
mean,
stuff.
Yes, a lot of green stuff. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be really nice and fun. We're gonna have the kids dash. So the kids also, they're gonna have their bib, they're gonna have their medals, and we have like around 15 kids already signed up.
That's
Yeah,
great. Is there a
yes.
cost for the kids dash?
For the kids dash is $10.
Okay.
And for the 5K, we have the price is $40.
Okay. However, if you had signed up earlier in
Right.
the year, your price would have been lower.
Yes, we started
So-
at $30. I always tell the participants sign up the first day when we open the registration, because that's gonna be
That's going to be the cheapest opportunity. yeah.
exactly. And this is a charity event. Sometimes I sign up at last minute, and when it's an event to raise funds, I don't see the price, and I don't expect a T-shirt, or I don't have like a lot of high expectations. It's a great cause. Sometimes I don't even go. I don't even run it. I'm going to support. Yes.
Let's talk a minute about that T-shirt
Yes.
part of it, because for one thing, with the cost of all supplies going up in the last
Yes.
few years, the T-shirt cost has really gone up. But what people who are going out to run a race don't realize is the reason it's best to sign up ahead of time and get your T-shirt guaranteed
Right.
is because we have to guarantee your size too.
Correct.
It's just I can't tell you how many races after the race goes by and you end up with, okay, I've got 15 extra large
I
T-shirts
know.
left,
Yes.
and yet I ran out of the smalls and the mediums.
Right.
I got them in the car, so I only.
We still have from 2020.
Yeah. So it's a balance, and that's why race directors and people who put the races together want you to sign up ahead of time, is so they can make sure that the sizes that they order match
Yes.
the sizes they need.
That we have an inventory, and but the thing is, we have to have a cutoff day because we need to order the T-shirts. The place that we order the T-shirt, they need to make sure also that they have that size.
Right. They have to order
And-
the blank T-shirt and then
Right.
print the T-shirt. Then the
Exactly.
T-shirt has to dry, and then you get to pick
They
it up.
have a
Yeah.
process also, so
Yeah.
it's kind of stressful, and then the back and forth that all the logos are in the back of the T-shirt, and that they're in the right sponsorship level. So it's a lot of back and forth. It's a lot of work behind the scene that a lot of participants, they don't see, but it's worth it, and it's fun. I just try to make it fun, to be honest with you.
It's fun to direct a race, but again, anyone who thinks it's an easy way to raise money for a group, it's not. There's nothing easy about it, and
Yes,
there's a
it's
lot
not.
of. And the longer you do it, the more years in a row, you kind of fine tune the things you're doing.
Yes.
And you figure out what works, what doesn't work.
Correct.
Who is going to give you the T-shirts on time when you order them?
Yes.
You got to set up with timers, because you want your race to be timed.
Right.
You got to you've got to decide your age group. You got to
Right.
get the prizes for your age group
For
winners.
masters, for overall winners, and we want to come up creative. It's a lot. We want to make things different and fun for everyone, not only for the club or for the group, but for everyone.
So I know that you still have registration open
Yes.
currently,
Yes.
and people can still also sign up for the kids run.
Absolutely, yes. And also, we're gonna have registrations on race day,
You
but it's
will.
gonna be more expensive.
Right.
So we invite to, if you can sign up before or now, today, that would be great. So it's gonna be less expensive.
I start to get a little little anxious just describing all the things
yeah.
that go into the race, because we didn't even talk about after the race food and the liquid, making sure there's water at a water
Yes.
stop, especially in Florida. When I was first running races in West Palm Beach, we used to run at a lot of the races were run at John Prince Park, and there was a 10K race. Back then, they were doing a lot of 10K races, and the people who were putting it on were athletes, but they were not runners. And so they had, it was a longer race, and they only had Gatorade at the rest stops. They didn't have water. And there were 3 ambulances at that race that came to the race, because there were people who Gatorade is great, and any other hydrating liquid is great too. But a lot of runners that are regular runners, what they want is water, and they won't take the Gatorade because it might, or any other Powerade or any other drink, because if they've trained using water, they're
Right.
going to drink water.
Right, correct.
And it just was when we as runners got to all of the rest stops and found out that that's all they had, you know. And sure, if you have heat stroke, you're going to take the Gatorade or whatever liquid they have. But also, do you remember? I'm trying to remember the marathon. Was it Chicago Marathon one year? They ran out of water on the course.
Oh my God, yeah, I remember that.
So I mean, those things are sure you don't want to end up with a
No.
ton of water later, but
Right.
you can't take the chance of
No,
running
you
out of
can't,
water
you
during the
can't.
race.
I remember running New York Marathon in the late '80s one year when they first came out with Gatorade, and and they were supplying it at New York. There you could get Gatorade or water.
Yeah.
But there were people that thinking, well, I'll just take the Gatorade. They were actually having some problems with the digestion.
Yes,
Yes.
exactly.
It's syrupy.
Yeah, and especially if you're and,
They
and
mix it now.
yeah, and that's what, when I do any type of race now, when I run it myself, I generally bring my own bottle.
Yeah,
I bring my own bottle
nutrition.
of water.
Yes, yeah.
And some of the new disposable bottles are like curved in the middle, and it's almost like it's right there for my hand. But and Jerry, you're right. Especially when you're running a longer race, like a half marathon or a marathon, it's advantageous to have some type of extra in your water, or some type of, what are those little square cubes called that you can get at Fleet Feet? There's a couple different brands
Oh,
now.
yeah, the
and
chewy things.
the chewy things, and,
yeah.
and the gels, and there's all
I
different
remember
brands
carrying
now.
Power bars.
Yeah, so there's different things that you can have, especially with a longer run. But the big thing is you don't want to experiment on the day of the race.
Yes,
for
no.
sure.
If you're going to do it, you want to try it out while you're training for the race.
That's for sure.
You
In
don't
fact,
want-
Carla had a conversation today with a lady on the phone who wanted to sign up. She was not experienced running or walking, and she was asking about shoes. And Carla advised her to get shoes now so that they're broken in
Yes,
prior to
yeah,
the race.
yeah.
You
Don't
don't
race
want
them in on
to-
break day.
No, you don't wanna. Two things: nutrition and new shoes on race day. You really wanna try while you're training. While you're training, you want to try the nutrition. Okay, what works for you? What kind of liquids work for you, or gels?
Or what you're wearing.
Yes,
Even
and
to
what you
what you're
wear,
wearing.
everything. I mean, t-shirts, shorts, everything.
Now you can spend a lot of money on running clothes,
Right.
but you don't have to. You
Right.
can just wear gym shorts and a t-shirt, and
Yes.
that'll work fine for you.
Yes.
But you need to practice running in it, because you want to know, are the shorts that you're running in going to chafe your legs?
Right.
Or is the t-shirt heavier? So the great thing about running is that it's very cheap to do. and the bad thing about running is you can spend a lot of money
lot of
doing
money.
it too.
Just with shoes.
Because there's a lot of things. I mean, sure, you can get a pair of shoes, on sale, and a pretty decent brand. But if you're doing a lot of running, I always
Right.
recommend that people go and get fitted at a place like Fleet Feet.
Yes,
where
absolutely.
where they'll put you on a walking machine and let you and test out your gait, the way you run, what
Right.
type of shoes you need,
Yes.
whether you pronate, lean in,
Yes,
or
everything.
not.
If you need like a wide toe box, I mean, it's so much that it's at the beginning when I started running, I didn't know all this.
Yeah.
I didn't know, and I was like, oh my God, what my toenails are.
That's what I was
black
going to say.
You
My
know.
first pair of running shoes when I started doing long distance,
Yeah.
they were a pair of Bobos, maroon Bobos from
Oh,
from
wow.
Kmart, and they're not fitted or anything. I was wearing them to work. I was wearing them.
Yeah,
to,
they felt good, right? No,
Yeah.
they look good.
But and
no.
that's okay if you're running a couple 5Ks, but when you start running and training for long distance
Sure.
and putting a lot of
Yes.
miles in it,
Yeah, no.
what did they say? 500 miles or 6 months when you're training? 500 miles
Yeah.
on your shoes?
Yes,
or
and
6
that's
months?
yes. Sometimes 400 or 300, all depends. And I don't want to take any chances when I feel like okay, because you can feel it when it's new and when it's wearing down. I need a new pair.
But the worn down ones are really hard to get rid of.
I know.
They're
Trust
like-
me, I
they're-
know.
They're like you look at them and you say, "Oh, I remember when I did this, and I remember when I
they
did
bring
that."
memories.
I wrote a story for Runner's World one time about what to do with your old sneakers.
Yes.
One of my ideas was just to bury them around your flower garden with the
With little
with
signs?
the toes up.
Oh no!
Use
That's
them as
funny.
a border.
Well, and some people who have been running for a lifetime, I know we talked about, I've been running for about almost 50 years, like 48
Oh,
years.
wow. That's
So I've
great,
gone through a lot
Suelen.
of different running shoes in those years, and I obviously don't keep them all. A lot of times running shoes may be too worn for you to run in, but are perfectly fine for somebody else, for you to donate to Mustard Seed or somewhere, for
Yes.
somebody to just walk around in and not
Sure.
necessarily
Yes.
There
run
are people
miles
with no
in.
shoes.
Yes,
Yes,
yeah.
absolutely.
But and we all have running shoes along with running attire and everything. I started running before the days where they had cute matchy running clothes. It was basically you wore gym shorts and t-shirts and all types of different shoes. And now there are specialty running stores, and you can spend a fair amount of money, but you can also go in there and say, and Fleet Feet's not the only one. You've got Runners Depot too up in Vero, but Fleet Feet is the one that's in Port St. Lucie,
Port St. Lucie,
and in
right.
Stewart, and they're kind of like a family. Well, literally, they are a family
They are a
because mom
family.
and dad own the Stewart one, and the kids own the Port St. Lucie one. But they welcome you as a family too, and they have fun runs for people.
Yes.
That are. Is it Monday night in Port St. Lucie?
On every Monday, they meet at the Port St. Lucie store in Tradition. I believe it's at 6 p.m.
And that's a tradition.
Yes, that is in the Tradition. And they have like different, like every week, they have like a speed training, but they go to different locations.
So you call the store, look online.
Look online.
and-
they
and you
have
can get the information.
activities. Also, they organize races. Actually, they just organized the one Run for Your Heart a couple
Did
of
that
weeks ago.
Yeah.
Yes, they had the 5K, they had the 10K,
And they
it
have the
was-
Dreamin' in the Keys one
right, that is
that's
in May, I believe. I'm not sure, but you can also go to the website.
And the other thing that Fleet Feet offers, and most of the local running stores offer, is some sort of race listing. So
Right.
you can look on their
Yes.
website, and you could see a listing.
Yes, and they do mentoring also. They have for a specific race, they have mentoring, and if there is a participant who has never done anything like walking or running, they can take you from the start, and
From
they
couch
show
to
you
5K.
exactly to 5K. And it's great because you're gonna meet a lot of people. And I remember when I started running, I always tell people that who got me into the running is my son Richard, and he's a great runner. And so I started running and said, okay, let me just sign up for a marathon when I had only run a 5K with him, right? I had no idea what I was doing. So he went to Honduras to spend summer, and I said, okay, let me just sign up. So I signed up at Fleet Feet. That was in 2010. And I started training. I did a couple of half marathons before the marathon. And my first marathon was in Jacksonville, the Donna Marathon. Oh my God, what an experience. That was an adventure because that's when you know, okay, I need to train different. Like,
And for people who are not runners, they may not realize
Yeah.
that a marathon is not another name for a timed race. A marathon is particularly 26.2
6.2
miles.
yes.
So I know people who run a 5K and then they're not trying to exaggerate, but they tell people they ran
Generically,
a
they say,
marathon. Yeah,
yeah.
because
Yeah.
it's like Kleenex and tissue. They think it's a, but
Right.
26.6
26,
miles. As a matter of
yes.
fact, and it's 26.2 with Donna is the name of the
Yes.
marathon.
Yes, yes. That was a beautiful experience. That was my first marathon, and after that, I did few more. But it's just like every race, you have a story. You know, you look back, and I'm thinking, wow, I just don't know how I did it. And the people you meet, and that's when I met you. I met Jerry on the running club. I met other great friends that we're still in touch. Like maybe like Yuko. Remember Yuko, my friend from Japan? She moved out of the state, but we keep in touch. And those memories, that friendship, that is still there.
And you still remember, like I remember training for
Yeah.
my first marathon 32 years ago, 33 years ago, and I trained with a girl named Barbara and her boyfriend Alan, and they had a marathon training clinic that was meeting in John Prince Park, and that was how I met my husband.
Oh,
Is he
wow.
signed up for that training clinic, and I signed up for the training clinic, and we trained and saw that our pace was a similar pace, and then we trained together for the Jacksonville Marathon that was the precursor to the Run with Donna. It was just called one of the bank names, Bank of America, a Jacksonville
Okay.
Marathon or something like that, and we trained for that together, and then about a month after that, we started dating. We were saying, oh, we're just gonna be friends. It's probably
yeah.
how you and Jerry started too.
Yeah.
We're just gonna be friends. We're gonna be running partners.
Right.
But running together creates a level of intimacy. Whether it's friendships or relationships, you really get to
Yes.
know the other person
Yes,
really well.
absolutely.
You're
Yes.
especially the long distance running, because you're running, and you might have a training run that is 2 or 3 hours long.
Correct.
And I don't know about you, but I have a tendency to talk for that whole period of time, especially if it's a training run.
I'm trying to catch my breath.
No, but I mean, you know
But
what I'm
you
talking
share,
about
you
with
share
the
a lot.
relationships. Yeah.
Absolutely, we share a lot. I have I have trainings with for running or cycling. For example, this morning I went cycling like 3 hours. Okay, and we have this group, and we're looking forward to meet, and we make it fun. We suffer, but we make it fun. We tell jokes, or we know what's going on. If we're down or we're up or we're happy, we share those things, and it's we go to dinners together. We go with, for example, in Christmas. So we have created this environment of like healthy environment. And not only physically, but everything comes to what I was telling you at the beginning. You have to surround yourself with people that wants to do great things too. To bring happiness, to bring positivity in your lives. In that way, you're going to accomplish many things.
And it's hard to be around other runners and be down because you
Yes.
got all of that serotonin, really floating
Yes.
around. Everybody's got their own little running high.
Yeah.
And it's a good feeling. It makes you feel good about yourself.
Yes.
It makes you feel good about other people. And the other thing that's interesting, and you probably had this experience with Jerry too, is when I finally went out on a date with my husband and he wasn't all sweaty and in running clothes, that's how I met him and that's how I knew him for the first couple months.
Right.
And man, he cleaned up nice.
I know. We clean up nice. It's crazy. Every time when we go to dinners or parties, it was
One of our first dates, I took her to the opera.
Yeah, we went
Oh,
to
wow.
Orlando.
Yes, we were like,
Yeah,
I mean,
you weren't
That's a
wearing
big
your running
difference.
clothes
Yes.
there. That's great.
Yeah.
The other thing that's wonderful about the community of runners and walkers, because when I talk about runners, there's people that are at different levels, or if you've run for 50 years, you may be going back to walking or
Yes.
walk running.
right.
But everybody comes from a different place. I mean, you might have doctors and nurses and construction workers and neurosurgeons and corporate people all running together. And boy, when they're in their running clothes, they're all equal.
We all are runners.
Yeah.
We're there just with different goals, but we all runners or walkers. We just went across that finish line. And I tell everyone, like this lady today, she was excited, but at the same time, I'm scared. What if I don't finish? Or what if it's going to take me forever? And I was telling her, listen, we're going to wait until everybody comes back. And it doesn't matter if you cross at the first or if you're going to be the last. It's the same finish line. And I tell that to myself because I am not where I used to be before. My body is not the same, and it's okay. I'm thankful that I'm able
still
to.
out there doing
I'm
it.
still out there.
Yeah.
Every time that I cross that finish line, it's like I'm thankful because I have seen. So many people, they just don't do it anymore for different reasons. But I'm still here. And if it is in my power to motivate others, it doesn't matter how slow you are.
A lot of times, those people who are the last ones in
Yeah.
get a bunch of people go out and run with them and run that
Right.
last,
And
500 yards or
celebrate.
whatever
Yeah.
and so there's even more celebration for those
Right.
last couple people coming in.
And you don't know the reason why they're running. You don't know the reason why we all run. And many reasons, maybe you want to stay fit. Maybe you are doing it because a family member or any reason. But just finishing or just signing up and going out there and doing it, it's an accomplishment.
It is, and it's a good feeling to start, plan, and finish something, really, no matter what it
Yes.
is. And the nice thing about running or run walking is there's a finite distance that you're covering.
Right.
And
right.
there's people cheering at the end.
Yes.
And it's something I kind of liken it to being pregnant in that you're training for something for a period of time, and then on race day it's kind of like the day you're delivering your baby.
Yes,
you
yes,
know
yes.
you
Right.
you can't guarantee what the weather's going to be like on race day, and you can't guarantee what the people around you are going to be doing. All you can guarantee is that you've done your homework,
Right.
you've studied for the test, and now you're running across the finish line and feeling good.
I don't
Right.
know what it's like to be pregnant. But I have run out for pickles and ice cream.
Yes, you've done
But-
that part of it.
But I can remember trying to qualify for Boston for like 5 years, doing all kinds of marathons. And I can remember I was in Chicago when I qualified, and I had about 2 or 3 miles before the finish line. And I knew by my time and how I felt that I was going to finish. I even get emotional now.
Yeah.
I can remember the tears in my
Yeah.
eyes. You know?
Yes, yes.
Because when you're trying for a set goal, and that's the other thing too, is if you're just starting to run, you can run your first race, and then your goal for your next race would just be running it a little bit faster or feeling a little bit better at
Right.
the end.
Yes, it's a lot of goals that you can set to yourself. Me
But if you're
personally,
gonna start running, I wouldn't start running like in June or July.
no, oh my God, that's crazy. The
Here,
weather,
anyway.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's crazy. It's so much. The weather is, yeah, that.
You were talking about how people would, cheering you on
Yes.
and race. I was thinking of something. Someone told me when I was starting to run long distance, wear your name on your shirt.
Oh
And
yes.
people, as you're coming in, or even along the course, if it's a big race, people will be calling your name.
Right.
One time I'm Slovak descent, and I was wearing the Slovak flag on the front of my shirt. And people were saying, Slovakia, it's like, going through New York.
Right, and that's one of the things that you might not realize, especially in a big race. So you don't necessarily have to run a marathon to run a big race, because Walt Disney has all those
Oh,
really
sure.
big races, and even locally on the Treasure Coast, you already have over 250, so you're probably going to have, 350, maybe 400 by the time your race gets here. This weekend, there's several other races that are coming up this weekend that are already at capacity. The Turkey Trot that takes place in Tradition every year.
Right.
Could be 600 or 700, but when you're in a big crowd and you want people to recognize you or stand out, if you're running with a group, wear matching shirts.
Right.
Run with
Yes.
either a name on your shirt or something identifiable. You were talking about marathons. One marathon I was running, I didn't have my name on the shirt, but I had a Gator shirt on, and everyone was saying,
Okay,
"Go
go
Gator
Gators,
Girl!"
Yeah.
And so you feel like, you
They are with you.
yeah,
Yes.
they're because everybody, whether they've already run and finished the race, or whether they're there cheering somebody else on, or whether they're just out to watch the race, everybody is out there and they're
Right.
cheering for you. We're talking about the running community and the race itself. Let's spend a little bit more time talking about your March 18th race, because this is the third race that you've put on. Who is it benefiting this year?
So we have the challenge of 3 charities. It's going to be, one of them is going to be Hens Clinic in San Luis County. They give dental, medical, vision.
They even have psychiatrists and
Yeah,
whatnot.
all types of
Right.
healthcare,
Healthcare
Yeah.
to
working.
that
People
who
that
have no
can- yeah.
insurance
Yeah.
or yes,
Or underinsured.
or
yeah.
Yeah.
underinsured. The other one is going to be the Pan American Roundtable of the Treasure Coast. They are a nonprofit organization who gives scholarships to students in high school going to college. Actually, back in the day when my son was in high school, he won one of their scholarships. So I know where the money
So
is
you're
going.
paying it forward.
Yes.
Yes.
I
yeah.
always tell to myself, you never know how you're going to pay forward, because I remember the ladies when my son won the scholarship, they were looking for him. And remember, back in the day, kids, my son, he didn't have a cell phone or carrying a cell phone. So they were like desperately trying to get a hold of him. And that day it was raining, and they met at Dunkin' Donuts, and they were taking all that information because he won that scholarship. So I told to myself, one day I'm gonna find a way to give back, and I'm thankful that now is the time. And the third one is going to be Safe Space. They give help to
Victims of
domestic
abuse.
abuse,
Right.
adults and children.
Right.
Yes. Actually, tonight we're going to have a tailgate party, and the CEO of Safe Space and the Pan American Roundtable, they're going to come in to the group, and they're going to give like a brief description of what they do and all that. So the club is going to be, the participants can be more aware of
That's
where
awesome.
all this is going.
Yeah. So
wonderful cause. I'm telling you, we hope to get more participants registered within the next 25 days. And
Safe Space
yeah,
is a very good charity.
yes.
It's something that if anyone out there is looking for something to give money to give back to your community, Safe Space is a very good charity.
Well, that's the thing. There are so many organizations out there, and I love the fact that you each year you cover more than one organization.
Yes,
And that's what we're going to do this year with the Selfish Beer Mile. Instead of it just going, like last year went to PACE, and a year before it went to Big Brothers Big Sisters, and we've done Education Foundation, but we're going to start to break it up.
Right.
Because there's so many great
Yes,
organizations
there's so
out there
much out
that can
there.
just use a couple extra thousand here, a couple extra thousand
Right.
there for their programs and for their
And also,
events.
if you don't want to sign up, we have a donation button on the Run Sign Up page. You can make a donation. The donation can go to Hands Clinic.
You can
or
specify what
yeah,
charity
where
want.
you want the donation to. I invite friends who don't want to participate, or maybe they're not runners. Just come into the race and cheer on for everybody. Just be there. So maybe that's going to.
If I may
Give you-
interject, just
yeah.
one other thing, a statistic that we found out when we met with Safe Space.
The safe space, right?
Safe Space for the Treasure Coast, 55% of the people they help are in St. Lucie County,
So it's very much
but only
as, yeah.
3% of their funds are coming from St.
Oh
Lucie.
wow.
From-
Yeah.
from-
Yeah.
It's amazing to me.
That
So
that
it's
is
a lot
amazing.
of- yeah.
So back to the race itself. You're also looking for people to come and volunteer.
Correct. Right.
And then you have most of your sponsors in already.
Yes.
But if you're interested in sponsoring next year, March of 2024, you'll have another race. You might do the St. Patrick's theme again, and you.
Yes, it is possible.
It
We're
is.
gonna have it. Yes, we
Yeah.
wanna make it. We're thinking how to make it so more people sign up at the same
Be
time.
creative,
We
yeah.
wanna be creative, come up with something different. But definitely yes. I'm going to open the registration the day after the race, and of course
For
the
next year.
for next
For
year.
next year.
And the price is going to start cheaper than now. So everybody, I invite everybody to sign up early.
If people want to volunteer and help you, is the best way to reach out to you through your social media on PSL Crosstown Running Club, Facebook, or Instagram?
Yes, they can also send an email at pslcrosstownrunningclub@gmail.com.
Okay.
And also in the page in Run Sign Up, there is a button that you can send us an email, contact the race director, or the website, or you can go also the Facebook page, PSL Crosstown Running Club, or as you said in Instagram, sending us a message.
And some of the ways that you can volunteer is you can volunteer at a water stop, you can volunteer at the registration table, you can volunteer after the race, handing
Yes.
out refreshments, handing
Right.
out medals,
Yes.
a lot of different opportunities. And you don't need any training other than what the race people will tell you to do.
Correct.
Somebody's always there to tell you what to do.
Yes. We are planning on meeting at 5 in the morning and start setting up everything. We have a volunteer coordinator. So Vilma, she's going to direct the volunteers where to go. We have a map who's going to specify where we need more volunteers. So it's kind of, and it's a loop. The race is a loop. So there is no, yeah.
I feel impelled to just mention we have Mako Soccer Club. They're coming out just to help us park cars.
That's awesome.
Yeah, the
That's
Masters
awesome.
Club. Yes, yeah, Maca
and
Masters
it's
Club.
it's great to have the community involved
Yes.
with it too.
Yes, and it's, oh my God, Suelen, it's so many people that, especially members from the club, they're willing to help. Is okay, how can we help? And they come up with ideas and being creative, and everybody wants to be part of it, even if they're not running.
The race is the Shamrock Crosstown
5K.
5K, and it's Saturday, March 18th. Begins at 7:30, so hopefully you'll beat the heat.
Yes.
Usually March races have a little bit of coolness in the morning. The Port St. Lucie Crosstown Running Club, you can find it on Facebook and on Instagram, PSL Crosstown Running Club. Jerry is the president, and Karla is the race director of the race. And they also... so on Wednesdays at around 6 o'clock at McChesney Park,
Correct.
which is at Crosstown and what's
Heatherwood.
Kashmir.
Kashmir.
at Kashmir,
Kashmir, sorry.
or Sundays at 8 a.m. at Submarine Crosstown Park. You can come out and walk or run or have fun.
Or have fun. Yes.
So-
1 mile, half a mile, 10 miles, whatever. We're going to be there.
Lots of opportunities, whether you're a first-time race runner or a walker, or it's something that you've done for 50 years and you just want to do more of because it's kind of contagious.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
So
It is a nice atmosphere.
it is a great atmosphere, and everybody is very friendly, and everybody wants everybody else to do well.
Right,
So
right,
it's
right.
fun to be around runners. Well, Karla and Jerry Andreco have been my guests today. We've been talking to them about Port St. Lucie Crosstown Running Club and the Shamrock Crosstown Race that's coming up on March 18th. You've been listening to the Sue Ellen Sanders Show.